Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's video episode from the Veg Grower Podcast. And as you can probably see, I'm down the allotment. I've been down here all afternoon. It's getting early evening. I'm getting hungry, so I think it's time to go home soon. I'm just about to see how this bag of potatoes, which are the Aaron Pilot variety, have done. So I said empty this out. I'm not expecting brilliant results, if I'm honest, but what I just want to kind of reflect upon today. I've been down here most of the day reflecting on a few things, as yesterday unfortunately I got some very bad news that one of my cousins unfortunately was hit by a train and died, which has been a real disappointment, really sad news, as you can imagine. But it's given me, I've been down here to kind of have a bit of time, kind of reflect and do what I do best, or do what I enjoy the most anyway. So let me just get my pot of that. My cousin is only a couple months older than me, and he's had epilepsy his whole life, which in the last few years has led to some depression, as you can imagine. And it's really tragic because I've suffered from depression through post-traumatic stress in the past, and I know how hard it is that once you're in that low level, just how difficult it is to really make sense of the world and how nothing seems to add up. And well, at the moment we don't know if my cousin committed suicide or what. I think it's a tragic circumstance to suffer an illness like that your whole life, and to feel like you've not accomplished anything in your life, which brings me on to what I've been reflecting on in the allotment and the garden. Now, listeners to the podcasts that I do will attest that I quite regularly have talked about how I believe allotmenteering has a lot of benefits for everyone, or just gardening in general. And there's a saying, I don't know how true this is, but there is a saying that you never find a depressed gardener. I don't know if that's true. I can certainly see some truth into it, because I do believe that when you embark on projects like gardening, providing you're interested in it, you get a sense of accomplishment and a sense of you doing something. And I think many people are missing that in their life. Not missing it for anything of their own, but I just think, again, when I suffered with PTSD, I knew what I needed to lift myself out of it, but all I wanted to do was stay indoors. So yeah, and what I kind of would like to know about anybody else out there who has suffered with depression or anything like that, that would like to share their experiences and stuff. It'd be a really interesting thing with everyone who's out on there to kind of we could share in the comments down below, and I think even if you don't suffer from depression yourself, or haven't suffered from it, if you know of somebody, perhaps invite them along onto your garden and see if you can get them interested. I mean, of course, in my cousin's case, it wasn't just the depression. It was the epilepsy. A few years ago, he had a fit and broke his back, and that didn't let him work. He was unable to work, and he felt a bit useless after that. So yeah, I'm just kind of interested in, well, interesting is probably the wrong word, intrigued to feel how this affects people. It's too late for my cousin, it really is, and that's a sad day. Anyway, that's that bag empty, and I got 3 tiny potatoes. Not even worth it. So I'm going to go grab another bag and be right back, and we'll see how many we get in the next one. This is actually my home guard variety, one of my favourites. However, this year they haven't done that well on the ones that I've already emptied. But 3 potatoes out of our pilot, it's not going to be hard to beat. Quite a bit of scab on these ones, all worm eaten and slug eaten. But we've got more than 3. Now, with my potatoes this year, they've been pretty disappointing. And I've been growing them in pots, which I do every year, and they're normally pretty successful. But for a few years I've been growing them in just horse manure, well rotted horse manure. It's basically this stuff here. Now it does stay nice and moist, I'll grant it that. And I use it because it's cheap and I can get hold of it. But I'm thinking, as these potatoes haven't been that good, I probably need to use more compost next year. more compost and probably a bit more feed. Although I did feed these quite well, threw in loads of comfrey. I also think this year that late frost I got that killed a lot of the tops off didn't help. By the way, at the moment I'm fighting amongst this pumpkin plants here and here, which are looking pretty good, but I'll show you that in a future episode. Right, that is it. That is it. That's half a pound of potatoes from 2 bags. I'll bring them over and show you. This is what we got. That's pretty disappointing. Oh well. It's not like we're going to starve, and there's always next year. Probably a couple of months ago I noticed a plant growing that I hadn't sown, but I thought it was a sunflower. Well, this is it. If that doesn't lift your mood, what will? You know, there's a couple of bees on there actually. Let's see if I can zoom in on them and see if we can see them. There's one, and there's the other. Zoom back out. It's a pretty impressive sunflower. Let's put my hand up against it. I mean, sorry. It's probably a good 10 inches across. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Considering I didn't sow it, it just turned up. I'm pretty happy with that. Well, here I am at my vegetable plot at home. And you can tell what's missing. All the tomato plants have now gone. They all got blight. So it's looking a little bit empty here, but actually the plants that I have got left are doing very, very well. It's given me a chance to really examine them as well in what have you. So let me take this cucumber plant. Now this is a snack cucumber, so it only produces little cucumbers, sort of. Let's bring in that sort of size is all you're going to get out of them. I actually find these better than the standard larger ones, or market moors you might call them. One variety anyway, but I prefer they might be called gherkins as well. I find them better, they grow better, then they don't get so much in the way of disease and stuff, I find. But as you can see, it's grown all the way along there, and then I've had to tie it in 3 more canes along there. So that's probably a good 8-foot plant, which that's pretty good, pretty good. I've also discovered, once these tomatoes are out of the way, this jalapeno plant, which is looking really good, and it's got jalapenos growing on it. Lovely, I like my jalapenos. Not quite purple like Grumpy Gardeners, but nonetheless I like these. And then I've got a few more chilies and peppers. These were all basically, the tomatoes just taken over anyway, so I think I've learned next year not to grow so many tomatoes or so close together in this bit. So every year we live and learn, and this is no exception. What I'm also noticed with the soil, if I bring you down here, I should say that compost bins, the chickens have learned how to open the base of it, and they go in there looking for bugs and everything, so I've got to find a way of securing it. But down here, I've always said I've got very clayey soil, Last year I covered this completely in horse manure and it's all disappeared. I think the worms have dragged it down into the soil. So low in nutrients and what have you, that I'm going to have to build up this soil structure really well. But hopefully these two girls will be digging it over more and helping me out with that as well. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do apologise for the slightly somber, upset mood at the beginning. I think I needed to get it out, but it's all kind of emotional, I guess. Nonetheless, things are going well on the plots, regardless of the bad stuff. But anyway, I digress. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, leave us a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you very much. I try and respond to every comment I get. Don't forget, if you want to hear my podcasts, I'm available on iTunes and many other podcast sites, as well as my personal own website where you can find all my podcasts on and videos and everything, and that's theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk. So with that, thank you very much, and I'll see you again next time.